Shivaya, Shivaya Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Namaha.
This is the location where the pujas commenced on this property in 1996 and 97 when the temple authorities were negotiating with the local town officials with a view to obtaining a permit to build the temple. At that time, Puja Sri Madhyoli Saraswati, who was identified by no less a personality than Paramacharya of Kanchipuram as the embodiment, an incarnation of Sri Akhilandeshwari of Jambukeshwaram in Thiruvannaikkaval, came to the temple and advised me to start performing a homam to Devi Chandi in this location on every Friday and to sprinkle turmeric on the property, which I began diligently to do. And Within a 3-week period, all the difficulties disappeared, and we installed this Ganapati, who is named Valipullayar, which means the Ganapati who is on the wayside. This Ganapati came from Mahabalipuram, and I brought him here and installed him, and pujas are performed to him. If weather permits, Avani Chaturthi is celebrated on this deck, and homams are done in this homakundam, and Ganapati Tarpanam is performed.
Sri Matre Namaha. Namaskaram, everyone. Welcome back to our Sacred Rites and Rituals of Sanatana Dharma learning series, which is a joint presentation by the Sri Vidya Temple Society, Rochester, New York, USA, and Ashtanga Yoga Mandir, Sri Lanka. A few housekeeping reminders. We kindly ask everyone to keep all microphones and cameras turned off throughout the session. Please use the question form to share any questions you might have pertaining to the content discussed today. For those viewing our live stream, our question form can also be found on our webpage, which is srividya.org/AYM-lectures. We will hand it over to Aya to begin today's session. Namaskaram.
Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Prajnanam Brahma Ayamatma Brahma Tattvamasyaham Brahmasmi. My profound namaskarams to my Guruji, Srila Sri Amritanandananda Saraswati, and I pray to him that he will sit on my heart lotus and speak through me. Last week, we did the Tamil version of Shiva Purana Vidhi of Shodasa Upachara Puja, 16 services to the Lord. And while chanting the Shiva Puranam, we were able to do the Shodasa Upachara Puja with the Mula Mantra Om Namah Shivaya. Now, there are many viewers and listeners who do not know Tamil. So for them, we have prepared a puja that is unique to our temple, as far as I can tell. It's called the Shodasanga Raudri Karanam. Raudri comes from the word Rudram, and we have extracted this puja vidhi with from the Mahanyasam as enunciated by Bodhayana Rishi. There is another version by Ravana that is not very popular, and Bodhayana Rishi is who many people follow. And this puja has been taken from them. And what it requires, or what it entails, is that installation and invocation of Rudra in 16 places in the body. So, needless to say that every time you perform this powerful puja, your body, with all its muscles, bone marrow, veins, nerves, everything undergoes a purification. So this time we have a video recorded at the temple. The Shodasanga Raudri Karana Shodasa Upachara Puja is performed by one of our devotees, Adish Ankolekar. So can we have the video, please?
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Devim Vasvajnayanta Devastam Vishwarupa Pashvo Vadantim Sano Mantresha Murjam Johana Dainurvak Asmana Prashishtadaitu Ayam Muhurtostu Muhurto Astu Shuklam Baradharam Vishnum Rajivarnam Jadrurbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vigno Pashandayet Mamopata Samasta Dhridakshayadvara Shri Parameshwara Parameshwari Prityartham Ado Vigneshwara Dhyanam Karishye Shri Dakshinamurti Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmat Acharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Om Midyachanya Keshavaya Swaha Narayanaya Swaha Madhavaya Swaha Govindaya Namaha Om Masya Shri Asna Mahamantrasya Prithivyamedo Prishte Nama Shirasi Sustalam Chandase Nama Mukhe Kurmo Devadayai Nama Hridaye Asane Viniyogah Prithvitvaya Dhrita Loka Devitvam Vishnunatrita Tvanchadare Mam Devi Pavitram Chasanam Guru Om Yogasanaya Namaha Om Virasanaya Namaha Om Sharasanaaya Namaha Om Samyogasanaya Namaha Om Hrim Adara Shakti Kamalasanaya Namaha Rakta Dvadash Shakti Yuktaya Dvipanathaya Namaha Bhuma Devyai Namaha Om Jagadvani Mantra Mata Hum Phat Swaha Agamartanta Devanam Gangamartanta Rakshasam Kurukandaravam Karam Yado Devadatvana Iti Ghanta Nadam Kritva Om Deepa Devi Mahadevi Shubham Bhavatu Me Sada Yavat Puja Samapti Syat Tavat Tvam Prajvala Sastira Bhava Deepa Devyai Namaha Deepa Lakshmyai Namaha Om Kalasasya Mukhe Vishnu Kanthe Rudrasamashitaha Mule Tatra Sthito Brahma Madhye Mantrigana Smritaha Kuksho Dusagara Sarve Saptadvipa Vasundara Rigveda Yajurveda Samaveda Pyatarvanaha Angaish Sahita Sarve Kalashamrashamashitaha Ayantu Shri Shodashangaradri Karna Pujam Dhridakshayakaraka Gange Chayvane Shaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmada Sindhu Kaveri Jalayasmin Sannidhim Guru Am Im Rum Lum Lum Aim Om Aham Om Hrim Dhram Dattatreya Hare Krishna Unmattanandadayaka Digambaravane Balabhishaja Jnanasagara Dhram Hrim Om Dattatreya Namaha Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Iti Puja Upakarnani Dravyani Atmanam Jasam Prokshaya Shri Mahaganapadaye Namaha Hasraim Haskalarim Hasrasoh Mahapadnavanandaste Karanananda Vigrahe Sarvabhutahite Mada Ehi Parameshwara Shri Mahaganapadim Avahayami Sthayami Sampujayami Namaha Om Shri Mahaganadipadaye Namaha पुष्पैः पूजयामि। ॐ श्री महागणपतये नमः। धूपम् आग्रापयामि। ॐ सर्वविघ्नहरं देवं सर्वविघ्नविवर्जितं सर्वसिद्धिप्रदातारं वन्देऽहं गणनायकम्। ॐ श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। धूपम् आग्रापयामि। धूपानन्तरम् आचमनीयं च समर्पयामि नमः। ॐ श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। दीपं दर्शयामि। श्रीं ह्रीं क्लूं श्लूं ब्लूं 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 ह्रीं श्रीं अथ नवाक्षरी रत्नेश्वरी विद्याभिमन्त्रय दीपं दर्शयामि। आयुर्देहि धनं देहि विद्यां देहि महेश्वरी समस्तमखिलं देहि देहि मे परमेश्वरी। दीपं दर्शयामि। दीपानन्तरम् आचमनीयं च समर्पयामि नमः। ॐ श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। अमृतमहानैवेद्यं निवेदयामि। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् परो रजसे सावधूम्। ॐ आपो ज्योतिरसः अमृतं ब्रह्मभूर्भुवस्वरों देवसवितप्रसुव अमृतमस्तु अमृतापस्तरणमसि सत्यं तत्तेन परिषिञ्चयामि। ॐ प्राणाय स्वाहा। ॐ अपानाय स्वाहा। ॐ व्यानाय स्वाहा। ॐ उदानाय स्वाहा। ॐ समानाय स्वाहा। ॐ ब्रह्मणे स्वाहा। मध्ये मध्ये अमृतपानीयं समर्पयामि। अमृतमस्तु अमृतापितानमसि उत्तरापोषणं समर्पयामि। हस्तौ प्रक्षालयामि। पादौ प्रक्षालयामि। गण्डूशम् आचमनीयं च समर्पयामि नमः। ॐ श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। आनन्दकर्पूरनीराजनदीपं दर्शयामि। ॐ राजाधिराजाय प्रसन्नसागिने नमो वयं वै श्रवणाय कुर्महे। समे कामान् कामकामाहि मह्यं कामेश्वरो वै श्रवणो ददातु। कुबेराय वै श्रवणाय महाराजाय नमः। आनन्दकर्पूरनीराजनदीपं दर्शयामि। दीपानन्तरम् आचमनीयं च समर्पयामि नमः। ॐ श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। आत्मप्रदक्षिणनमस्कारान् परिकल्पयामि। सर्वविघ्नहरं देवं सर्वविघ्नविवर्जितं सर्वसिद्धिप्रदातारं वन्देऽहं गणनायकम्। ॐ गौरीमिमाय सलिलानि तक्षत्येकपदे द्विपदे च चतुष्पदे अष्टापदे नवपदे पशुवशी सहस्राक्षरा परमे व्योवन्। ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः ॐ नमः शम्भवे च मयो भवे च नमः शङ्कराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय च शिवधराय च विभूरसि प्रवाहनो रौद्रेणानिक्येन पाहि मा आग्ने बिप्रहि मा माहि गुंसीः ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवरों शिखास्थाने रुद्राय नमः ॐ नमः शिवाय हस्रैं हस्कलरीं हस्रसौः महापद्मवनान्तस्ते कारणानन्दविग्रहे सर्वभूतहिते माद एहि परमेश्वर श्रीपरमेश्वरम् आवाहयामि आवाहिता भव संस्थापिता भव सन्निधापिता भव सन्निधि भव सन्मुखी भव अवकुण्ठिता भव सुप्रीता भव सुप्रसन्ना भव सुमुखा भव वरदा भव प्रसीद 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 देवी सर्वजगन्माता यावत् पूजावसानकं तावत् त्वं प्रीतिभावेन विग्रहे पीठमन्त्रे देशे नगरे प्रपञ्चे सन्निधिं कुरु। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः ॐ नमः शम्भवे च मयो भवे च नमः शङ्कराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय शिवधराय च वह्निरसि हव्यवाहनौ रौद्रेणानिकेन पाहि मा आग्ने बिप्रहि मा माहि गुंसीः ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवरों शिरास्थाने रुद्राय नमः ॐ नमः शिवाय आसनं समर्पयामि ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः ॐ नमः शम्भवे च मयो भवे च नमः शङ्कराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय च शिवधराय च स्वात्रोऽसि प्रचेतः रौद्रेणानिकेन पाहि मा आग्ने बिप्रहि मा माहि गुंसीः ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवरों मूर्धस्थाने रुद्राय नमः ॐ नमः शिवाय पादयोः पाद्यं समर्पयामि ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः ॐ नमः शम्भवे च मयो भवे च नमः शङ्कराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय शिवधराय च तुथोऽसि विश्ववेदा रौद्रेणानिकेन पाहि मा आग्ने बिप्रहि मा माहि गुंसीः ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवरों ललाटस्थाने रुद्राय नमः ॐ नमः शिवाय हस्तयोः अर्घ्यं समर्पयामि ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः ॐ नमः शम्भवे च मयो भवे च नमः शङ्कराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय शिवधराय च उशिगसिगवीरौद्रेणानिकेन पाहि मा आग्ने बिप्रहि मा माहि गुंसीः ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवरों भ्रूस्थाने रुद्राय नमः ॐ नमः शिवाय कलशोदकेन मुखे आचमनीयं समर्पयामि ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः ॐ नमः शम्भवे च मयो भवे च नमः शङ्कराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय शिवधराय च अंघारिरसि बम्भारी रौद्रेणानिकेन पाहि मा आग्ने बिप्रहि मा माहि गुंसीः ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवरों मुखस्थाने रुद्राय नमः ॐ नमः शिवाय स्नानं समर्पयामि ॐ आपोहिष्टामयो भुवस्तानवूर्जे ददातन महेरणाय चक्षसे यो वशिवतमो रसः तस्य भाजयते हनः उसतीरिव मातरः तस्मा अरङ्गमामवो यस्य क्षयाय जिन्वद आभोजनयताज्जनः शुद्धोदकस्नानं समर्पयामि ॐ सत्यो जातं प्रपद्यामि सत्यो जाताय वै नमो नमः भवे भवेनादिभवे भवस्वमां भवोद्भवाय नमः। क्षीरस्नानं समर्पयामि। ॐ वामदेवाय नमो ज्येष्ठाय नमः श्रेष्ठाय नमो रुद्राय नमः कालाय नमः कलविकरणाय नमो बलविकरणाय नमो बलाय नमः बलप्रमदनाय नमः सर्वभूतदमनाय नमो मनोन्मनाय नमः। दध्ना स्नपयामि। ॐ अघोरेभ्यो तघोरेभ्यो घोरघोरतरेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः सर्वशर्वेभ्यो नमस्ते अस्तु रुद्ररूपेभ्यः। आज्यस्नानं समर्पयामि। ॐ तत्पुरुषाय विद्महे महादेवाय धीमहि तन्नो रुद्रप्रचोदयात्। मधुस्नानं समर्पयामि। ॐ ईशानः सर्वविद्यानाम् ईश्वरः सर्वभूतानां ब्रह्माधिपतिर्ब्रह्मणोऽधिपतिर्ब्रह्मा शिवो मे अस्तु सदा शिवो। शर्करया स्नपयामि। ॐ तत्पुरुषाय विद्महे महासेनाय धीमहि तन्नो सुब्रह्मण्यः प्रचोदयात्। सुब्रह्मण्योऽगं सुब्रह्मण्योऽगं सुब्रह्मण्यं फलोदकेन स्नपयामि। ॐ हंसाय विद्महे परमहंसाय धीमहि तन्नो हंस प्रचोदयात्। अथ गन्धोदकस्नानं समर्पयामि। ॐ अमृताभिषेकोऽस्तु कनकाभिषेकोऽस्तु हिरण्याभिषेकोऽस्तु सुवर्णाभिषेकोऽस्तु दिव्यमङ्गलाभिषेकोऽस्तु महाभिषेकोऽस्तु। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः ॐ अरुं नमः शम्भवे च मयो भवे च नमः शङ्कराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च अवस्युरसिधुवस्वान् रौद्रेणानिक्येन पाहि मा आग्ने बिप्रहि माहि गुंसीः। अरुं ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवरों कण्ठस्थाने रुद्राय नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय। वस्त्रयुग्मं समर्पयामि। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः ॐ अरुं नमः शम्भवे च मयो भवे च नमः शङ्कराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च सुन्द्युरसिमार्जालीयो रौद्रेणानिक्येन पाहि मा आग्ने बिप्रहि माहि गुंसीः। अरुं ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवरों बाहुस्थाने रुद्राय नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय। सर्वाभरणानि समर्पयामि। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः ॐ अलुं नमः शम्भवे च मयो भवे च नमः शङ्कराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च सम्राडसि कृशानु रौद्रेणानिक्येन पाहि मा आग्ने बिप्रहि माहि गुंसीः। अलुं ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवरों ऊर्ध्वस्थाने रुद्राय नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय। गन्धं समर्पयामि। चन्दन अगुर कुङ्कुम शङ्ख मृगमद कर्पूर कस्तूरी गोरोचनादि दिव्यगन्ध सर्वाङ्गीनविलेपनं समर्पयामि। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः ॐ अलुं नमः शम्भवे च मयो भवे च नमः शङ्कराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च परिषाद्योऽसि पवमानो रौद्रेणानिक्येन पाहि मा आग्ने बिप्रहि माहि गुंसीः। अलुं ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवरों हृदयस्थाने रुद्राय नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय। पुष्पं समर्पयामि। चञ्चलाय नमः श्रीं पादो पूजयामि। चपलाय नमः श्रीं गुल्फो पूजयामि। कान्त्यै नमः श्रीं जानुनी पूजयामि। भद्रकाल्यै नमः श्रीं ऊरौ पूजयामि कमलिन्यै नमः श्रीं कटिं पूजयामि शिवायै नमः श्रीं नाभिं पूजयामि क्षमायै नमः श्रीं स्तनौ पूजयामि गौर्यै नमः श्रीं हृदयं पूजयामि कम्बुकण्ठ्यै नमः श्रीं कण्ठं पूजयामि स्वर्णकुण्डलाय नमः श्रीं स्तोत्रयं पूजयामि सुवासिन्यै नमः श्रीं मुखं पूजयामि स्वस्तिरूपाय नमः श्रीं नासिकां पूजयामि कुमार्यै नमः श्रीं नेत्रत्रयं पूजयामि अम्बिकाय नमः श्रीं शिरौ पूजयामि योगनिद्राय नमः श्रीं पादौ पूजयामि शान्त्यै नमः श्रीं सर्वाणि अङ्गानि पूजयामि। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः ॐ ऐं नमः शम्भवे च मयो भवे च नमः शङ्कराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय स पृथक्वासेन भस्वान् रौद्रेणानिक्येन पाहि मा आग्ने विप्रहि मा माहि गुंसीः ऐं ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवरों नाभिस्थाने रुद्राय नमः ॐ नमः शिवाय धूपम् आग्रापयामि। धूपम् आग्रापयामि धूपानन्तरम् आचमनीयं च समर्पयामि नमः। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः ॐ ऐं नमः शम्भवे च मयो भवे च नमः शङ्कराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय स असम्मृडोषि हव्यसूदो रौद्रेणानिक्येन पाहि मा आग्ने पिप्रहि मा माहि गुंसीः ऐं ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवरों कटिस्थाने रुद्राय नमः ॐ नमः शिवाय दीपं दर्शयामि। आयुर्देहि धनं देहि विद्यां देहि महेश्वरी समस्तमखिलं देहि देहि मे परमेश्वरी दीपं दर्शयामि। दीपानन्तरम् आचमनीयं च समर्पयामि नमः। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः ॐ नमः शम्भवे च मयो भवे च नमः शङ्कराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च ऋतधामासि सुवर्ज्योति रौद्रेणानिक्येन पाहि मा आग्ने पिप्रहि मा माहि गुंसीः ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवरों ऊरुस्थाने रुद्राय नमः ॐ नमः शिवाय अमृतमहानैवेद्यं निवेदयामि। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तच्चवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् परो रजसे सावतोम् ॐ आपो ज्योतिरसः अमृतं ब्रह्म भूर्भुवस्सुवरों देवसविदप्रसुव अमृतमस्तु अमृतापस्तरणमसि सत्यं त्वर्तेन परिषिञ्चयामि। ॐ प्राणाय स्वाहा ॐ अपानाय स्वाहा ॐ व्यानाय स्वाहा ॐ उदानाय स्वाहा ॐ समानाय स्वाहा ॐ ब्रह्मणे स्वाहा मध्ये मध्ये अमृतपानीयं समर्पयामि अमृतमस्तु अमृताभिधानमसि उत्तरापोषणं समर्पयामि हस्तौ प्रक्षालयामि पादौ प्रक्षालयामि गण्डूजम् आचमनीयं च समर्पयामि नमः ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः ॐ औं नमः शम्भवे च मयो भवे च नमः शङ्कराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च ब्रह्मज्योतिरसिसुवर्धाम रौद्रेणानिक्येन पाहि मा आग्ने पिप्रहि मा माहि गुंसीः ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवरों जानुस्थाने रुद्राय नमः ॐ नमः शिवाय कर्पूर्णचूर्णताम्बूलं समर्पयामि भूगीबलसमायुक्तं नागवल्लिदलैर्युतं कर्पूर्णचूर्णसंयुक्तं ताम्बूलं प्रतिगृह्यतां कर्पूर्णचूर्णताम्बूलम् अक्षतान् समर्पयामि ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः ॐ नमः शम्भवे च मयो भवे च नमः शङ्कराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च अजोऽस्येकपात्रौद्रेणानिक्येन पाहि मा आग्ने पिप्रहि मा माहि गुंसीः ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवरों जङ्घस्थाने रुद्राय नमः ॐ नमः शिवाय आनन्दकर्पूरनीराजनदीपं दर्शयामि ॐ राजाधिराजाय प्रसन्नतागिने नमो वयं वै श्रवणाय कुर्महे समे कामान् कामकामाहिमह्यं कामेश्वरो वै श्रवणो दधातु कुबेराय वैश्रवणाय महाराजाय नमः आनन्दकर्पूरनीराजनदीपं दर्शयामि दीपानन्तरम् आचमनीयं च समर्पयामि नमः ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः ॐ अहं नमः शम्भवे च मयो भवे च नमः शङ्कराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च अहिरसि बुध्नियो रौद्रेणानिक्येन पाहि मा आग्ने पिप्रहि मा माहि गुंसीः अहं ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवरों पादस्थाने रुद्राय नमः ॐ नमः शिवाय आत्मप्रदक्षिणनमस्कारान् समर्पयामि ॐ यानि कानि च पापानि जन्मान्तरकृतानि च तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणपदे पदे पापोऽहं पापकर्माणां पापात्मा पापसम्भवः त्राहि मां कृपया देवि शरणागतवत्सले अन्यदा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्यभावेन रक्ष रक्ष महेश्वरी ॐ नमः शिवाय आत्मप्रदक्षिणनमस्कारान् समर्पयामि। ॐ अनया मया कृतेन यावच्छक्तिः ध्यान आवाहनादि श्री षोडशाङ्गरौद्रीकरणपूजां सर्वात्मक श्रीगुरुसहित श्रीदेवी तृप्यतु। ये तत्पूजाफलं सर्वं भगवती श्रीराजराजेश्वरी परादेवता अर्पणमस्तु। श्रीगुरु अर्पणमस्तु। ब्रह्मार्पणमस्तु। हरिः ओम्।
So, although it took quite a bit of time, it's important that you see the whole puja, how it is performed. The text is available for you to download, and you can watch the puja again and again until you become familiar with all the sounds and the mudras. Now, this Shodasanga Karana Puja that you just heard and saw is performed at our temple during the evening. Sayaraksha Puja is called this Shodasanga Karana Samhara Karama Puja, because there are 3 pujas in the temple. The first one in the morning is Srishti Kramam, creation. Second one, midday, is Sthiti Kramam, protection. Third one in the evening is Samhara Kramam. So this puja is performed in the temple by the volunteers in the evenings. Now, I want to embark on a subject. The object that you saw, the Upasaka performing puja to, is a Shivalingam. We will see something, get to know something about the Shivalingams. Shivalingams are of many types. There are naturally occurring Shivalingams and man-made Shivalingams are there. The classification can be made by origin. That is where it originated. What are the materials that are used? The other classification is who has installed the lingam. Origins of lingams are Risham. A rishi has installed and worshipped the Shivalingam. If you want to know, an Arishalingam is the one in Marandeshwara Temple, Tiruvanmayur. Agastya Rishi is supposed to have installed this lingam and worshipped it. And Kamadhenu in later times also has worshipped that lingam. The second one is called Daivatam, Daivatalingam, installed and worshipped by Devas. For instance, the Tirukkediswaram temple in Sri Lanka was installed and worshipped by Ketu, a Daivatam. Manusham, installed and worshipped by a human being. A classic example is Rameshwaram. The Ramanatha Swami temple was installed by Rama when he was a human being, and he worshipped it. So that's Manusham. Asuram, installed and worshipped by an Asura, such as Ravana or Kumbhakarna or Vibhishana. The Shivalingam that is in the Koneshwaram temple in Sri Lanka was installed and worshipped by Ravana. So that is Asuram. Puranam. Some Puranic person has installed and worshipped the lingam. Puranic individual can be even Indra. the temple in Susindram was worshipped by him, installed and worshipped by him. So this is by origin. There is another classification, like I told you before, by how it has come into being. Right? Now, naturally formed in the bed of rivers is Banalingam. But the name Banalingam is now indiscriminately applied to all the lingams that have been taken from rivers. That is not correct. There used to be an asura called Vanasura, and the story goes that every day he would perform puja to a lingam and then consign it to the waters of a river. And that river happens to be Narmada. The Narmada riverbed, the river Narmada, is unlike any river anywhere in the world, let alone India. The riverbed is considered to be the body of Shiva himself. And if you look at it, it looks like granite, but it is not granite. It is a different material. So the Sivalingams that are taken up from the Narmada river are usually called Banalingams, after the Asura who worshipped it. But there are lingams that are also taken from the Ganga. Then it becomes Ganga Lingam. Like that, from sacred rivers, the Shivalingam is taken, naturally formed in the bed of certain sacred rivers. If you look at Narmada, it flows through Madhya Pradesh, and in some places it is quite ferocious. The flow is really very high. And in the crevices of the riverbed, dislodged pieces of stone are polished over years and years, and they become shaped like an ellipse, and they become the lingams. Usually, once they are taken out, they are polished and then polished and sent to various places. The other class is Kriya Lingam. If it is manufactured by a human being, it's called a Kriya Lingam. Then temporary lingams are there. If you have a kalasam and you worship the kalasam, mapping various deities into the kalasam, then it becomes a Kshanika Lingam. If you make a lingam out of rice, Annadi Lingam, then that becomes a Kshanika Lingam. After the puja is over, you can distribute that Shiva Lingam as prasada. Now, there is also a particular class of lingams that are made out of bananas. That is, you take a banana, peel it, and cut a portion of it. Take a beetle leaf and place the banana on that. It becomes a Shivalingam. The beetle leaf becomes a Yoni Pitam. And you do, let us say you do a Rudravishekam for a family. You can do that in any place of the house. You can do this, and after the Abhishekam is over, you give that to the person to consume. So these are Kshanika Lingams. Now, Kriya Lingam, when it is made by a human being, there are particular proportions. In the Shastras, it's called Kriya Lingam, Kriya Linga Lakshanam. Now, if you look at this lingam, it says male stone. You see a cylindrical object going from the base all the way up. 1/3 of it has to be in the ground. That is Brahma Bhagam. You see on the left side a cross section of that particular area. So it is square, 4-sided. 1/3 of it is in the earth. In the Yoni Pitam, another third is inside. That is called Vishnu Bhagam. And that is octagonal, 8-sided. Above the Yoni Pitam is a cylindrical portion also 1/3 sticking out. This is either called the Rudra Bhagam or Puja Bhagam. That is where you do the puja. Now, you notice the Shivlingam that the gentleman who did the puja, Shodasa Rautrikaranam used, is only, it obviously does not have the Brahma Bhagam inside the ground. So that Shivlingam is human made, and that falls under a category of what is called a Ratnadi Lingam, made of a gemstone. There for the question. I think because we took some time with the Shodasanga Raudri Karanam, I will stop here today and answer some questions, and we'll continue from here next week.
So some general questions here about doing puja at home. What is the best material and size for a vigraham to keep at home?
What is the best material and
Size.
Usually, if you go and talk to very orthodox people, they would say that the murtis in your house should not exceed the size of your thumb. Anguli matre, that big, that size. But I think, after having seen the workmanship that they have used on the very small murtis, you can hardly make them out as male or female. And especially for a person like me who has studied architecture, it becomes very difficult when you look at the murti, you are so trained to look at the details. I would say a span. The tip of your thumb to the tip of your ring finger, that size should be the murti. If it is bigger than that, your house should be like a temple. That means you have to be very clean and careful with how you treat it. My advice also to people is that if you have a separate shrine room, after you finish the puja, close the shrine room. Don't leave the door open. It's not a thoroughfare, otherwise the traffic will be going in and out of the house. So a span, that's the size.
And about the material, yeah?
Material is, if it is you're thinking of a Shivlingam, it can be granite. And if it is a Shivlingam, it can be granite. And if you buy a Shivlingam like that, you will never get the Shivlingam separate from the base, from the Yonipedam. So Brahma Bhagam is missing. So I would get over that by placing a square base and the lingam sits on it. Material can be, now the one that you saw in the puja, that is made of malachite. Salt of copper, and it's called Maragada Lingam. You can get a Panjaloga Lingam cast if you want. A black lingam is fine. Or you must have what is called a Narvada Lingam. And if you have a Narvada Lingam, the base has to be made separately for it. So these are the materials.
And yeah, if it's a other murti, not a Shivalingam, then Panchaloham.
Panchaloham or even plaster of Paris. You must take care to see that the murti is not hollow. It must be solid.
Okay, yeah. Another question is, let us say you're doing puja every day and you have to go out of town for, say, an extended period. Can we take the murti or the Shivalingam along with us?
If it is not too big and you can carry it in your hand, you can take it.
Now, with reference to the puja that we saw today, why do we say snapayami, kalpayami, different endings Is there a
When he
significance?
said Snapayami, he was actually bathing the Shivalingam. Kalpayami is you are imagining that you are offering it to the Murti. So that happens Kalpayami. That, Avaranam Kalpayami. Right? He also said Amartha Mahanaivedyam Nivedayami. So good question. Somebody has been watching carefully. So these endings are there in the puja. You have to familiarize yourself with this by watching the video over and over again.
For the Shodashanga Raudrikarana Puja, why is it performed at the temple? And what other pujas are performed at the temple on a daily basis? I think you already talked about
On
this.
a daily basis, Sri Sukta Vidanam in the mornings, including Kadgamala Stotram and anything else you might want to. And the Sannidhi pujas are done with Shiva Puranam. In the middle of the afternoon, Lalita Rahasya Sahasranama Kramam. In the afternoon, Lalita Sahasranam is chanted and that is done. And in the evenings, Shodasa Raudrikaranam, plus of course, Shiva Puranam is done.
Yeah, does a puja like this, Raudrikarana Puja, or even using some Shiva mantra or other mantra require specific initiation?
Yes, it does require initiation. But in the beginning of the session, beginning of this series, I did say, everybody repeat with me and then chanted Om Namah Shivaya. So that you have received now. Shiva Panchaksharam is minimum for this.
There is a general question about what is Sri Vidya? Yeah. How did it originate? Who's the founder? That is a whole series, but maybe you can reply.
I think we can keep it for the next session.
Okay, yeah.
It's an essay type question.
Yeah. One last question. Yeah, maybe we can end with this. How do we, or how can we know the meanings of the different parts of the puja? That is, what each mantra and what each action signifies? Or is that knowledge less important than actually performing the puja?
As you're performing the puja, first, what is important is that your 5 sense organs must become one-pointed. That is the most important. The meanings will come on their own. You think the puja is an empty ritual. If you perform the puja regularly and with at least a little bit of faith, let us say 20% of faith, you will get to know the meanings and the motions and everything on Swami's grace is endless. He will make sure that you learn it. Somebody you will come across who will teach it to you or explain it to you. Or you will happen by somebody who is talking about it and you will listen. Okay?
That's all the questions for today.
Yeah, okay.
Stop here.
So
Thank you.
let's complete it with this for tonight. Next week we will meet again and I will take the details of whatever that is there. We will study the Shivalingams in detail. Thank you very much. Namaskaram.
Thank you, Ayya, very much for sharing this unique puja with us all. In our last email, we sent a feedback form. We kindly ask all participants if you can take a few minutes to complete this. We would really greatly appreciate this. Once again, to access all demonstration videos and content from prior sessions, please visit srividya.org/AYM-lectures. All content will be available on our website for everyone to access and practice. Thank you everyone for joining us for today's session. At this time, we will hand it over to Lasa Ayya for Ashtanga Yoga Mandir to begin our yoga session. Namaskaram.
Greetings to all of you all from Ashtanga Yoga Mandir, Sri Lanka, and my pranams to Haranaya. So we have been focusing on every session some of the important, that is the preparatory levels of practices. So last time we did some basic practices for the fingers. Today we will also focus a little bit of practice again on the practice of the palms, and then from there we will go ahead. So the first practice comes into this position. So all those who wish to come on video on mode, you are welcome to come on the video on mode, so that I also can see that your practices are correct. So, and when few of you all come on the video on mode, you can also see, like, you can also, in case if anyone who are watching on live, also if there is some corrections, there can be some common errors. So the first practices will be like this. From this position, you take your thumb, you separate it, press it. So here you will see the thumb will give a side pressure and also the middle pressure on the exactly on this middle part of it, because this middle part is a very important part for the strength of your fingers. So sometimes you will see in the modern exercise we do different practices, but the strength comes here on this position. So slowly coming to this position like this and like this, and then slowly start tightening. Tighten it, tighten it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Complete pressure of the thumb towards sideways and downward. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and slowly relax. And now you will be taking to the second and the third from this point. So those who are using heavy texting, what happens when you do a phone texting, you will see that some of them use both hands, and then some have a habit of managing it one. So when you start managing it one, what happens? This nerves comparing to this becomes more used, and this becomes lesser. Even in typing also you will see this we don't use much. So what happens? There is a nerve friction which takes place, and this nerve friction can lead into numbness, and that can lead a problem for you for neck pain. So generally what happens whenever we have a neck pain, we start to give a lot of pressure and start strengthening shoulder muscles and activating. But basically you will see it is because of this the imbalances of the strength of the fingers. So that is what we are again just going through it. So you will take it up, you will place it. So you will place it in this position. So it all depends. Some people, the thumb level, they can even extend it well. So just bring it up and then slowly bring it in this position, and then slowly start tightening. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and relax yourself. And now we have completed it, because this is the middle one is always we need to start, because that becomes as a central. Then comes this one, and now we go to the final one. You will see in this, like this, like this. We'll just sometimes when you don't have equal balance, you can just set it up and then start tightening. The concentration, awareness is completely in between the small finger and the fourth finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and slowly keep your palms down, relax yourself. So once you have completed that, you will see that Lord, the tightness, the stiffness, and then you feel your fingers are getting relaxed. After that, you can start doing this practice. You just try to bring like a paw, the lion paw, equally. Come into this position and then start tightening. But what is most important is that when you do this tightening like this, so we just bring it like this. So if I bring it like this, you will see this distance, and this distance has not equal distance. So you need to ensure to have that distance equal. And then like this, straighten it and tighten it. So if you have someone at home, even if you can just check when you have tightened it, it becomes equally stiff. Sometimes you will see this finger, mostly you'll not be able to get the amount equal strength like this. So when you do like this, ensure to bring it like this, come into this position, and then just slowly start tightening. The focus will be from this rekha upward, not down, from here. So here from this above, you start to focus equally. So ensure to have that strength equally and then get it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Elbow straight. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Relax. When you do this practice, for sometimes you will see there is a shiveringness. So when you do few rounds, 2, 3 rounds, so sometimes if you nicely observe, for some people there is a shiveringness. So you will know that nerve has to be connected. So you will see that. Especially you will see like those who are involved in music, those who are involved in sculpting. These practices are given to them because they need to have, even for us also, as we are more on to the modern technology, you need to make sure your fingers are as strong as your spine. Fine. And now, after this practice, you can do a very gentle practice of the Adimudra Kriya. So Adimudra is here. Thumb touch the root of the little finger, close it up, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, open it and then like touch and then close it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24, 25, 26, 27. Relax. Why these hand practices are so important? In yoga, this comes under the Varmology sections. So we are activating all the important Varma points in our palm. The reason is, if you take your body, we divide the body into multiple ways. One is we divide it into right side, left side. Second way, we divide it above the shoulders, hip to shoulders, hip to the knee, knee to the ankle, ankle to the toes. So when we do the yogic health assessment to see how the health conditions are, we just try to see in these, all these. Now, for example, if I take like this, I have divided right side. So from right side of my face up to the shoulders, this region, how is my health? Then I look into this side, whether I'm having headache, whether my hearing capacity is fine, whether my eyes is fine, whether my nose is fine, even tongue. If you just take your tongue is also divided based on the taste bud locations. So sometimes you will see if one taste bud is dominating, sometimes you will see certain type of food becomes friction. So you will know at the time of pregnancy, you will see women have different type of taste fluctuations and urge. Sometimes those who are having diabetics also, you will see there is a taste friction which takes place in them. So you will see that normal taste will change And then based on that taste, you will see that some aspect of your body will have an impact. For example, there's a possibility when the taste bud changes, there's a possibility for headache to create because of the friction. Then we also try to take, so from here when we say, we take it here. So there is another division, but just overall what happens from here, we look into this side, whether right side, right hand, shoulders, spine, everything is in perfect. Then you, so like that, you need to get that alignment. For that alignment as a practice and as an assessment, we have these practices which will help you tremendously. So basically, what is this? What does this practice does? Before we go into the asana, it is very important that the alignment of the body is made well. Activation of the alignment takes place well. Why? For example, when you do this practice, for example, when you are activating, the whole alignment starts to reset. And then from there, when you go into Surya Namaskar, or whether you're going into Sarvangasana, or whether you're going to any of the practices, what happens? Whatever the imbalances which has been created in your system becomes balanced, so your asana will become balanced, or else it will not become sukham. So as all of you know, the definition of what is an asana is sthiti, sukham. Understand? So there should be comfortable. Stiram, sukham. So when you are in the sthiti position, there has to be stiram and there has to be sukham. So if these both entities has to be there in your system, it has to be aligned. And once the body is brought to an aligned condition, it becomes so effective of the whatever the lightest practice you do. Even when you are doing your rituals and everything, sometimes what happens, there can be a position where we use one side more continuously for aratis and all those things, pujas and everything. You will see we use one side a lot, and that's fine. But later on, what happens, that one side of activities creates a slight imbalance. So one of the best way and easiest way is that you can do this tightening, you can do this movement, you can do all these practices. So there is a structured practice of what are the most important practices which has to be done. So there are about 9 practices which is completely deals with your palm, with your fingers. And we will, so in that we have discussed a few, but now we will go into the elbow. So here you will see in the elbow region, there is a very important chain of Varma points. That is the greatness of your elbow. So what happens, how to activate it? You keep it like it in this position, in the straight line. So when you bend it like this, you will see the activation pressure. Same way, when you go into Vajrasana, there also what happened, the Vajranadi. Vajranadi is one of the nadis which springs around the whole parts of the body. So once the Vajranadi is activated, all the other nadis which is connected also gets activated. That is one of the reasons that you will see that the Vajrasana is one of the asanas which you will be using after lunch. Generally, after food, we don't do any asanas. But why did we use, why did the Hatha Yoga textbooks prescribes Vajrasana? Is because when the Vajrasana, when you sit in that, various nadis which gets connected to the Vajranadi gets activated, that induces smooth digestion, number 1. Number 2 is when from the food, whatever you take, what happens, toxin eliminates. Any food you take, there's a certain amount of toxin. That toxin automatically does not go upward. For some people, the toxin moves upward. For when this toxin moves upward, for some people, it can go into different type of inflammation. So here, what happens once you sit in the Vajrasana, the toxins moves downwards so that it becomes easy for the elimination. Same way, you keep it in this position, palms in Adi Mudra, and then you slowly start moving. 1, 2, but your awareness is completely on the thumb. So you try to stretch. That is what is important. So sometimes what we do is you keep it like this and then do it. That's fine. But if you can stretch your thumb, because every time when you move your thing, your thumb becomes smaller. That is, the grip becomes lesser. So you need to maintain that grip. So you start moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The other way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then on the other hand, Adi Mudra, place it exactly extend it. So when you keep it, you will know sometimes in your thumb whether the thumb is straight or whether the thumb is bent. So look into that and then start moving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The other way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax yourself. So you will see these are the preparatory practices. So there is another one set of practice which is called as the yogic sukshma vyayamas. Based on the Varmology principle, there is a set of practices. So altogether there is about 49 practices in that. And in that what you will see basically is all these practices creates the complete nerve alignment before we go into the practices of asanas. So with those words, we will complete the session today. My pranams and thanking to Haranaya for his wonderful explanation. It is the duty of the viewers to ensure that that knowledge is given to everyone. So he has started with a wonderful session today of explaining the Shivalingas, which will be continued for next week. And we request all participants of the Sri Vidya Temple, Ashtanga Yoga Mandir, to ensure that this knowledge, opportunity is given to the public and to make this program great. So thank you very much for Haranaya and also to the wonderful team of the Sri Vidya Temple, having a beautiful team coordinating and making it so easy for us to understand and making us into it and making us into that understanding process very clearly and making all the facilities. And also my thanks to the members of Ashtanga Yoga Mandir. Thank you very much and God bless you. See you all next week. The Shanti prayer. Shanti, Shanti.